Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today I have a lot of stuff to talk about. We probably won't be doing that much coding, so I hope that's alright, but I want to give you a little recap of how things were at Nodevember, and then we have a lot of stuff coming up this month and in January, so I want to give you all an overview of all the different things that we'll be working on, and then if you'd like to help work on some of those things, that'd be great. I'll probably make repos for everything that I talk about today soon, if there aren't already repos for them, and then we can start opening issues and pull requests. Some of these projects are going to be really fun, technologies we haven't worked with before, so I'm hoping that this will be exciting to hear all this news, and it'll make up for the lack of code. So first off, let me talk about Nodevember. Sorry, okay, there we go. The analytics on YouTube were saying that no one was watching for a long time, so just checking. So Nodevember was really fun, and I talked about my experience with this stream with live coding, and I got just so many positive comments afterwards. It was amazing. It went better than I could have hoped for. So the video of my talk is on my YouTube channel, so it's the first video on the channel right now. I can paste in a link for you all. Let me do that now, and that way you can check it out if you want. Maybe I'll put a link in the description for those of you who are watching the recording. Hopefully I remember to do that, and we'll put it in. I don't always remember to put in the links when I say I'm going to. Alright, so here's the link now in the live chat. And of course you're probably not going to want to watch it right now. You missed the stream. Oh, okay, cool. It looks like Rook already watched it. You like the humble joke. Cool. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I'm drinking the worst coffee I've ever had in my life right now. I don't know how long it'd been sitting in the pot, right? Because I was gone in Nashville for the last 3 days, so it's entirely possible that coffee's been sitting there for more than a day. I just warmed it up in the microwave for a long time, hoping to kill any bacteria, and it's really bad. But I didn't have time to actually make fresh coffee because the stream was starting. So, alright, so let me talk a little bit about the cool things at Nodevember, and then we'll get to the project. So if anybody happens to be watching the stream and you are at Nodevember, say hi in the live chat if you can, and that'd be really cool. So just some of the highlights, and if anybody's watching and you're a speaker or I talk to you at Nodevember and I forget to bring you up as one of the highlights, I apologize, but it's hard to remember things being on the spot live. So cool thing, Gabrielle from Microsoft, she did a Node robotics workshop that was amazing. We actually built a Node bot that was a little car that you could control with Node from your keyboard. So the code was literally like, when you press the right arrow key, then the Node bot will go right. So it was controlling the wheels based on, like we had a little battery pack and this little thing called a photon, which is kind of like an Arduino. I mean, it was really cool. A little motor, so cool. And I actually got to keep the stuff for the Node bot. So I think I took it apart to bring it home, and I think I'm going to make it with my kids. So that was a really kind of cool highlight. Don't know that I'll use it for my job here, but it was fun to see how that works. And maybe I'll find some practical use for it around here. Also, there was a great talk about one of the keynotes from Ben Elegbadu. Gave a talk on why Eventbrite switched to React. So he wrote this really long, like 19-page paper convincing everyone at Eventbrite why React was the way to go, and they were switching from Backbone. And there were a lot of cool things in there that I had never considered that was a good reason to go with React. So I really like that. Let me think what else. There was a cool presentation from someone at GitHub. Her name was Shelly. So Shelly from GitHub gave a presentation on async await, which was really cool because we've started using that in some of our projects. And it was cool to learn about. She basically went through the history of how you do things like that. So from callbacks to promises, talked a little bit about generators, and then on to async await. So it gave me like a nice overview of how that sort of thing has been handled in JavaScript. So very useful. And I know I'm forgetting so many other things, but I mean really the biggest highlight was meeting so many developers from all over. Really all over the United States, from so many different companies, from big companies like Microsoft. I actually met and got to talk to Marie from Microsoft, who works on the Office, was it the Outlook app? She builds microservices for the Outlook app, which is cool, all the way to like local small companies that were local to Nashville. Got to talk from devs from there. Just really cool. I got to talk to some people from Heroku and Netlify, and that's actually I'm gonna bring that up later when we talk about our projects, because I think we're gonna do some stuff with Netlify and possibly with Heroku as well. So anyway, if anybody from Nodevember happens to be watching now or later on, you watch a recording, you all were awesome, especially anybody who I talked to. You were awesome. I enjoyed so much, meeting everyone and talking. Everybody was just so nice. And so hopefully some of those people from Nodevember will start watching the stream occasionally, and we can keep in touch. All right, so I'm going to check the live chat quickly to see if there's any Nodevember related questions, and then we'll move on. Also, I guess one other thing, the free stuff at Nodevember was awesome. I got cool t-shirts. I'm wearing, I don't know how I can show you. I'm not going to try to show you, but I'm wearing Heroku socks right now, which look really cool. I've got a bunch of stickers, free time on Heroku. So 500 free dyno hours on Heroku. I did get a cool fidget spinner from... Oh no, it doesn't say the company name. I'm sorry. I really wanted to give them a shout out, but it doesn't say the name. I got a cool water bottle that is branded for Nodevember. So anyway, highly recommend going to Nodevember if you can for 2018. I'll try to go back there if I can. It was really cool. Maybe they'll want me to speak again. I don't know. I'll have to come up with something different to talk about. So somebody said, let's see. Brett said, Jesse, you deserve a fresh cup every day. A fresh cup of coffee. Thanks for that. Oh, cool. John says, I'm a natural at talking. Yeah, yeah, it seems like I have the talking down. I just need to talk less and code more, right? That's that's what everyone says. Street Fighter Motorcycles says, I look at the screen, I have a notification from you, I push the button, and you're talking about this thing, drinking bad coffee. What are you talking about? I'm worried now, my blood pressure is up. I got a heart thing, please. I need to know if the coffee is good. I'm worried. The coffee is terrible. That's what I get for trying to warm up old coffee when I have no idea how old it is. Shrikant says, tell something about November. I'm new to your channel. Oh yeah, if you're not, I keep saying November, I didn't explain anything about what it was. It's a JavaScript conference, specifically geared around Node, but there are a lot of talks about front-end stuff as well. Node.js being JavaScript that can run on the server. So really good conference. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of the talks were about React, or like somewhat React related stuff like GraphQL, which is frequently used with React. But then there was other stuff like the NodeBot thing that had nothing to do with React. Just, you know, React's just really popular now. So anyway, so I got a lot from it because we work with React, and so there are a lot of things, you know, that I can apply now to our projects. All right. Oh, we got someone from Argentina. Hey, how's it going? Also from New York. Great. And actually, I met 3 people in November from the Dominican Republic, which was awesome because I'd never met anyone from the Dominican Republic before. And then now, within like 2 days, I met 3 people, and they were all really, really nice, awesome people. So if anybody's from the Dominican Republic watching, say hi. And let's see. Oh, there's someone from Brazil, from Bosnia. Awesome. We got people from all over. I love it. Okay, so now let me move into some of our projects. I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you. Oh, cool. We got someone from Dominican Republic. Great. Let me, Angel Eduardo Rodriguez Feliz. Awesome. Hey, I'm from Dominican Republic too. All right, cool. We got 2 people from Dominican Republic here. All right, we have someone from India. I always have people from India. India is well represented, I think, in the streams. It's awesome, and I always am like amazed that you all in India stay up so late to watch this. And thank you for that. That's like, it's amazing to me that you are willing to stay up. Ooh, Kenya, awesome. There's someone from Kenya. All right, so I'm gonna throw a lot at you with these projects now. So. I'm not going to go in depth into any one of them because I want to make sure I get them all in, and then if there's questions you have about any of the projects, let me know, and then I'll talk more about the projects that you all are more interested in, and I'll just kind of go quickly through the stuff that maybe is not so interesting to you. Let's see, from the Ukraine, we have Algeria, Norway, awesome. Yeah, Jørn from Norway. I remember. Thank you though for reminding me. Cool, because I remember I had trouble pronouncing that at one time. So, okay. So let's talk first about the project we've been working on, right? Because I did say that this was still part of Project 5. So I want to make sure we talk about Project 5 so it's not misleading. So that's this main website that we've been building. We started in Gatsby, and then we switched to React, but we kept our Gatsby branch open. So here's what I'm thinking. All right, I merged some pull requests in, so thank you for everybody for the pull requests. And maybe I'll go over that and at some point today or tomorrow. We had at least one person, it was their first pull request, I think. So congratulations on that. But I talked to some people who know a lot more about Gatsby than I do, and I think that it will be very doable to do this site in Gatsby. Before, I was kind of not sure about it, you know, partly because I'd never used Gatsby before, so I really just had no idea, no experience as to whether or not what we wanted to accomplish would be best accomplished with Gatsby. And I think that we can, and I think it may end up being faster. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to build out the sites, both sites, the Next version and the Gatsby version, just a little bit more, to the point where we're actually pulling some data from a test WordPress installation. We'll try to pull it with GraphQL, and I'd like to set up both of them in a production environment and then test the speed, and potentially to even test like the load on servers if we can. From what I've heard at Nodevember, Gatsby should be faster if we set it up the way that I was talking about. So I think I know this is crazy to keep trying to develop these, but you know, we're not that far into the development of this site. So I don't know. Let me know what you all think about it, but it just seems like the speed advantage is going to be significant. So in particular, I want to thank Brian Douglas from Netlify. So I doubt he'll ever watch this or anything, but just want to thank him for taking the time to go through explaining a lot about how Gatsby and Netlify handle sites like this, like where we're pulling data from the API, and how the rebuilds work and all that. So that is the big kind of change for this project that we'll try to do. So if anybody's more interested in working with Gatsby than you are with Next, feel free to start working on the branch. What I'd like to do is keep them as similar as possible. So in terms of UI, they're going to be identical, which should make it a little bit easier. You know, all the UI stuff can pretty much just be copied, and then the only things that'll really change is kind of our server setup, right? Because the routing with Gatsby was similar, right? It was just the stuff that's in the pages file, I believe, or the pages folder, I mean. So anyway, we'll have to take a closer look at that and work on it. But I have at least I think I have a much better understanding of how that would actually work. So anyway, that's big change number one. We're going to most likely go back and be doing some updates on our very first project that we did on the stream, that Catechetical Institute website that we built with Next, WordPress, the WordPress API. We did server-side rendering, a lot of caching in there. We're doing load balancing on that. So if you weren't with us during that project, check out the repo for it. If you go to the repo with all the other projects, I think it's called CI React. So I'm going to probably open up some issues in that repository for the new things, but just to give you a heads up, I'm going to have a meeting, I think next week or the week after, I can't remember the date, with the people who are in charge of that project, the Catechetical Institute. Some of the things they've requested are basically a space kind of above the fold on the home page for new news and stuff, so that they can kind of pin it to the top, all this new stuff. So we already have that section at the bottom. So there's going to have to be some discussion on what this is going to look like. Since we already have a section that does exactly that, could we just move the section up and maybe redesign it so that it's not quite as big? I don't know. We'll have to discuss it. But if you all have any suggestions for that, let me know, and then I could bring it up in the meeting. We're going to add some new sections that'll basically be identical to some existing sections, so that's not really even worth discussing. They'd like to maybe update that find a nearby event section that we already had the geolocation in, but we just need to build out the UI so that it's obvious that you can use the geolocation. So we had never finished that before, so we'll get to that. So if anybody has any ideas for kind of an intuitive way to basically for a user to know that these fields are clickable and they could sort by them in a way that looks nice, mobile, desktop, and it's pretty obvious and fits with the overall material design scheme and the particular color scheme for that site. Let's see. Oh, we're going to have to do some forms most likely. So it's not like we haven't done anything like this before, but we currently don't have any forms on that site. So we're going to have probably 2 forms, and so it's not going to be a big deal. I don't think we need file uploads at all, so it's going to be pretty basic, but you know, we'll need some form elements. We'll need some the word just slipped my mind. When you check form validation, that's it. So we need some form validation. Let's see. Okay, they're not happy with the font size, so they think the font size is too large. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm more likely. I like to have a larger font for readability. So I'll have to let you know how that goes. That won't be hard to change though. And good news is that resource page that we spent so much time building, they love the resource page, and they thanked us. They thanked me for all the hard work, but I know that you all did a lot of the work too, so I'm going to extend that thanks to you all for that. And we may end up adding an entirely new page to the site. That would be a place to submit advice, and then also have that advice displayed for everyone. So that's a possibility. That's listed as something that would come in the future that we might not have to work on, you know, this month or even next month. So I'm going to check the live chat, see if there's any questions about some of the updates that I just talked about before I move on. And let me know too if you'd like to see like something else on the screen besides me. I can switch back to the view where you see the code. I don't have a lot of code to show you right now, but I'm happy to switch it if you if you like. Okay. Okay. DeWall says, so are your past projects on Mirn Stack? What is that? So Mirn is what? Like, help me out on Mirn. I can't remember what the M is. Is the M Mongo? Is it Mongo, Express, React, Node, Nginx? Okay, so M is Mongo. Well, yeah, well, we're somewhat on the Mirn stack. We haven't really used Mongo very much. Did we use... I think one of the projects that we haven't launched yet uses Mongo, that Bulletin project. We got some updates for that too, so we'll get to that. I hope I don't forget, because those are really exciting. But basically all our projects, we've used React. If we need to do stuff like custom server stuff, we're also doing some things with Express, obviously Node. We've used, yeah, so we have the ERN of the Mirn stack. We have the ERN. That's what we have. So thanks for the in the live chat. Thank you for letting me know what the everything in Mirn was. So I had some of it right. I forgot about the Mongo. Yeah. So basically, we have everything except the Mongo. All right. Let's see. All right. A lot of people saying hello. There's somebody from Birmingham, UK. There's a Birmingham in the United States too, so make sure you want to specify from Romania but living in Birmingham. Awesome. Albania. Cool. Oh, there's a new React update. So John Hansen mentioned React Update 16.2. No more div around divs or using an array of components with named keys and commas. React Fragment is here. Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Maybe if possible, I'll try to use that feature in an upcoming stream. I think that'd be really cool to try it out live as soon as we can. Cool. Jordan says, hey, from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Awesome. All right. Let me move on to, I think, the most exciting things that we're going to work on. So let me set up this scenario for you all so that you all know why I think we should do this. So as some of you may know and recall, I try my best to not complain on the stream, but you may have heard me complain about the amount of support I have to provide for things like the bulletin or the resource center. For the bulletin in particular, the login process, people just almost always the problem is old browsers, but occasionally there's some weird things with emails not being sent. It's not really from our end. The emails do get sent from my end. They just don't get picked up by, they get blocked basically. I don't even want to say blocked because I don't even get a message that they're blocked. They just get lost somewhere along the way. I don't know why. But anyway, we have that problem. And then in the Resource Center, we have the problem with older browsers not accepting the forms being submitted. So right now we have a disclaimer on one of our forms that it does not work with older browsers. But I think I figured out a way where we can just totally avoid all of that browser compatibility stuff. And I was inspired to do this when I was talking with Shelly from GitHub. I cannot remember her last name, so sorry. But Shelly from GitHub, who is a speaker at Nodevember, works on the Electron team. So if you're not familiar with Electron, it's a way to build desktop apps for Windows and Mac. I think also Linux. I'm pretty sure that it works for Linux too. But you can build that in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and it will run as a desktop app. So some examples of this are Atom, Visual Studio Code, Slack, maybe Spotify. I can't remember if Spotify, the desktop app, runs on that or not. But for sure, the first three that I said. So I think we should make the bulletin and the Resource Center desktop apps and mobile apps. So we're going to be using React Native for mobile, and then is there a name for making Electron apps with React? Does it have a special name, or is it just called Electron and we'll just use React? I don't know. If there's a special name, let me know. But I think that'll be so cool because we've never done anything with Electron before, and we've just kind of briefly looked at one of my projects that I did with React Native, but I was just kind of showing you all how, kind of the final result. We didn't really work on it together. So these are going to be like side projects that we'll do in parallel. So I'll create repos for them. I'll set up like the boilerplate. So I'll use create React Native app and get it started just to set up the repo. And then I'm going to need to do my research on Electron because I've never done anything with Electron. So whatever is the easiest way to just get something started, we'll do that. And then the process will simply be taking what we already have for those projects. So the Resource Center is already live and it's at a completed stage. We'll port those over to React Native and to Electron, and then for the bulletin, there's a little bit more we have to do for the bulletin to get it to a completed stage, but we'll also have repos open for those, so that when I have time, I'll work on it when I can. But as you all may know, my #1 priority now is that main website that we're working on at Project 5. So as I can, I'll work on them. But if any of you are really interested in learning more about React Native or Electron, and you're kind of looking for a project, then go ahead with this. I'll try to do my best to keep up with pull requests and open up issues. But the cool thing is you all already know exactly what's expected from this, because you can just check out what we've done on the just normal React versions of both of these. So yeah, so, and these are some things that they don't need to be done. There's no due date on these. This is just kind of my idea. I ran it by my boss this morning, and he thought it was a great idea. So, you know, we're going to do them, and it'll happen sometime, but there's no due date on these. So we'll just work when we can. I think that's all. The only other thing that I want everybody to still keep in mind is I'm looking for a good JavaScript CMS that is as easy for a user to work with as WordPress in terms of being able to upload data. What I don't want is, I know there are some CMSs out there that are like you pay for, like monthly. I don't want something like that. I want something that is preferably entirely open source and can be self-hosted, just like, you know, WordPress can be self-hosted. But I'd love for it to be JavaScript so we don't have to mess with any PHP. I mean, obviously it needs to be very easily you know, compatible with GraphQL. Netlify has a CMS that I haven't looked into at all. I just heard about. I don't think that it will work for our use case, but you know, we don't need to decide on that yet, so I'm still kind of testing things out. If we need to get some data just to test things, we'll use WordPress with GraphQL, and that'll be fine because we could always plug in a different source of data later on. All right, I think that's all that I had in terms of new announcements. If I think of something, I'll let you know. But I will. Sorry, I just got all these messages, so just distracting me. A second. The really cool thing about the Nodevember conference as well is I made so many met so many new people, and then the fact that you can just add people on Twitter right away is great because then I can contact. I love that we're not like exchanging business cards anymore, right? Like it's just like, okay, what's your Twitter name, you know, right there, and now we can, you know, communicate like that. Anyway, let me check the live chat quickly before we move on to something so I can answer any questions. Street Fighter says, Jess, has the coffee gotten any better with age? No. Says, if not, I suggest instant coffee sticks. I recommend them personally. They are amazing. An instant coffee stick would be an improvement on what I have right now. It definitely keeps me awake just from like the flavor in my mouth. It's just awful. I don't know why I keep drinking it. I need to put it far away from me so I don't drink it anymore. Let's see. Oh, okay, so Electron does work on all platforms. Thanks. So Angel, do you pronounce your name Angel or some other? I mean, because you're from Dominican Republic, so I'm assuming that's not how you pronounce it. Let me know how you pronounce it. I'm not going to try to guess and mess it up. I want to know how you pronounce it so I can get it right. World Boss asks if I'm a freelancer. I am not a freelancer. I was a freelancer for 3 years, but now I am employed full-time as a front-end developer. I do some freelance work on the side still. I'm currently not. I take that back. I'm currently doing like very minimal freelance work. I have someone who's kind of like a friend of the family, and I keep their WordPress blog up to date. I upload some posts for them twice a month, and twice a month I go in and update plugins. So it's really minimal. I mean, literally I make $15 a month off of them. It's like super minimal. It's insane because I spend like way less than an hour a month on that site, and I gave them a very good price because of the connection, the family connection. Anyway, I am interested in doing freelance work, so I don't want to be always doing something because it's hard on my family. But if anybody ever has any projects and you'd like some help with them, I'm open to that. I'm really picky about what projects I do, so I'm not going to guarantee that I will say yes to doing that, but I do like, if it's a technology that I'm interested in that sounds fun, then and potentially if the price is right as well, then I'm definitely interested in doing that. Let's see, I have a few other questions. John Hansen says, Jesse, I wonder if some of the email delivery issue comes from DKIM and SPF pass in the header of the message. This is a server-side setting that needs to be in place from the web hosting servers. All right. I honestly have, I don't know anything about those issues. I've never heard about that before. So you may be right, but I don't even know how to check that. So anyway, John, I don't know if you have more info about that, can give me some more direction, I can try to check into it. I assume that it was a problem with the university's email servers, since basically I can trace it through SendGrid, and SendGrid says that it's delivered, but they still don't see it. And I know other people have had similar issues with other things other than SendGrid. I'm hoping, so at the end of the month, we're going to switch over to use, instead of GroupWise, we're going to use Outlook. I was hoping that with that switch it might help things. That's why I haven't really been like digging too far into it, because I thought it may end up being a waste. But I don't know that much about email servers and things like that, so I'm definitely open to any advice you all have. Okay, so the Spanish pronunciation of angel is different. So what would you say? So is it like Angel or something like that? Angel. All right, you know what? Let's look this up right now. All right, so I got it. Oh man, this is killing me. I have to watch a commercial to watch a 5-second video on how to pronounce it. Angel? Angel? Okay. According to YouTube, that's it. Alright, and that's cool. Okay, so Angel says, yes, that's good. Alright, awesome. I think it's important to do my best to pronounce your names correctly. So, anyway. Alright. Brett says, possibly starting a job right next to Blue Bottle Coffee in Oakland, California. Have you tried Blue Bottle? I have not tried Blue Bottle. Is it really good? I'm not sure if I can get Blue Bottle Coffee out here in Eastern Ohio. Oh, cool. Street Fighter says, Shelly from GitHub is an amazing person. I've never met her, but I've listened to people who have. Yeah, like I only talked with her. We were both in the speakers lounge, like prepping for our speeches at our talks at the same time. So just kind of like, you know, occasionally talking. But yeah, she seemed really amazing. I mean, and she's not even out of college yet, and she's already working for GitHub and doing cool work with Electron, a lot of C++ work. Yeah, really cool. So I think, I mean, she's going to be like, I think, an amazing programmer already, right? You know, being so young and already, you know, doing such great work. So, yeah, so it was really cool to get to meet her. All right, Brett says, so we are swapping Next.js for Gatsby on FUS Marcom. No, not on FUS. FUS Marcom. Let me, you know what? Let me switch my screen and bring up the repo, just so that we're 100% on the same page. I should have done this right off the bat when we were looking at this. Where are we at? Marcom's Franciscan React. Yeah, this is it. Franciscan React. Okay. So this repo. So the it is in the FUS Marcom organization, and then the Franciscan React site. So we have branches right now. So we have a Gatsby branch, and we have our master branch. We also had a next branch, but that was merged into master, and it's no longer being updated. So the master right now is next, and then we have that Gatsby branch. What I'd like to do is basically, I want to pull in data into the master so that we can run a test of being able to pull in data from GraphQL, from probably WordPress, server-side rendering that, and then serving that, and then doing the same thing with Gatsby, but instead of server-side rendering, it will build a static site and then push that to the client. So I'd like to get them to the same point with just like minimal UI and bringing in the same data, and then just do some testing on it to see like which one's easier to deploy and work with, which one is faster. I think it would be cool. I know there's articles and people have already done stuff like this, but I think it would be really cool to do it live on the stream. I don't know. I think there's value in that. If you guys, if you all think that that's kind of a waste of time, let me know. But sometimes it's just cool to try it and see the results. Being able to like tweak things on our own, and see how it changes the load times and things. Also, being able to see like what's the size of the files that get sent to the client. Will one give us less that needs to be sent, because that's ideal. Anyway, so that's the plan. And while I'm in here on GitHub, I'll just, so that we're clear on the other things, let me make this bigger. Okay, so we're going to do this resource center here. The resource center repo, we're going to make another repo that'll probably be resource center React Native, and then we'll have a resource center Electron. And we'll build it out in React Native, build it out on Electron. I do want to make sure when we build out with React Native, we use the proper components so that it will work on iOS and Android. If you've never used React Native, that might be confusing, but there are some components that only work on Android, so we don't want to use those. If we do use those, we definitely want to have a check first, like a ternary, an if statement saying, if it's not iOS, then use this. So I'm okay with that, as long as we account for that. So, I mean, I'll talk about it more when we actually make those repos and everything, but just keep that in mind. And then on this Bulletin React, which isn't finished yet, we're going to also have an Electron version of this that'll be a separate repo, and a React Native version that'll be a separate repo. And again, if you weren't here when I discussed this, the reason behind this is that I'm having a lot of trouble with people with really old browsers trying to view this. And it's causing me a lot of time to have to handle that kind of thing. And it's so usually the complaint comes in to someone else in my department. They have to handle it. Then I have to handle it. And then what I usually have to do is go over, check it out, because often at times they don't know what browser they have. And then I don't have the access to be able to update their browser. I need an admin password for that, and I don't have like kind of the universal admin password. So then I have to get in contact with somebody from the IT department, and then hope that they get over there and upgrade everything correctly. So you could see it for each time that happens, it takes a lot of time out. So the solution I'm thinking is, have Electron, which if they're using Electron, right, then they're automatically getting a version of Chromium that will work. So they won't realize it, but they're essentially downloading the browser that they need to run it properly. So I believe I need to test this out on Windows, but on a Mac, even if you don't have an admin password, you can still download Electron apps and they work. So I have done that before on a Mac that I didn't have an admin password for. So assuming that it also works with Windows, then that would be really great. So anyway, also I think it'll just be really cool and a great experience for me and for all of you to be able to build iOS app, an Android app, and a desktop app that'll work cross-platform to build all that together. I think it'll be some great skills that can be in your portfolio, and some great skills, you know, be able to take like our starting point, and then you all can use that and modify it to make your own apps or your own desktop apps with Electron. I think it'd be really fun. Okay, John Hansen, talking again about the email thing, says once you look up these two items, DKIM and SPF, and get them set, it can mean the difference of mail taking hours, days, not at all, versus the mail going through in seconds. Contact the web hosting service. Okay, cool. I'll probably have to talk to the IT department then. I'll look it up though, because I'm still not 100% sure whether that'd be something on the email sending or the receiving side. So I will have to look that up. I'm still hopeful that maybe it'll be fixed when we switch to Outlook. Okay, cool. Angel says, I think if we have time to do all that that test of performance, it will be good and we will learn more on the run. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. If we have time to do that. If you remember, we still need to have this done by mid-February, preferably early February, so we can have more time for testing, and this thing needs to launch by the end of February. So you're right. We need to keep that in mind. So this testing needs to happen soon. Like, let's try to get both of the branches to the point where we can get a decent test within the next week. And then we'll make our decision, and there's no more second guessing. And it's me that's doing all the second guessing. So I'm going to promise to no more second guessing. Whatever we pick at that point, we're going to stick with it. And we're not going to switch, at least not for months and months. So that'll be the goal. Before the end of next week, we'll make a final decision based on our testing. Matt Robbins said, didn't know you were going to be in my neck of the woods. Oh, so, Matt, are you from around Nashville then? If so, yeah, I wish we could have connected. I actually had very little time. The one thing about November that was good or bad, depending on how you look at it, is it was just packed with stuff. Breakfast for the conference started at 8 a.m., and then the keynotes were over at 6 p.m., and then after that, every single night there was some type of event. So, you know, really you could go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. or later pretty much every day of the conference. So it was packed with stuff. I had hoped to get some pull requests merged and things at the conference, but I had no time. When I did have any time, I was like taking a nap because it was exhausting, but good. It was good exhausting. All right, let's see. I am on time. 2:50. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to say in terms of updates. Just checking briefly. Yeah, that's it in terms of the updates. So we got a lot of stuff kind of planned out. And I guess we could, I tell you what, we still have, we've been streaming for less than an hour, so I usually go longer than this. Let's do one Pomodoro cycle of setting up the React Native repo for, let's say, let's do one for the Resource Center, since the Resource Center is already finished. So I'm going to go through the setup process. We're going to use Create React Native App, and then we'll set up the repo, and then that way we'll have at least one of the repos that we need to set up. So one out of the 4 new ones that we're going to have. I don't think we've definitely not done this on a stream. So if you've never used React Native before, hopefully this will be beneficial to you. And where's my Pomodoro? I have it somewhere. Alright, let's use this Pomodoro clock, and let me pull over my terminal. Okay. Let me make this big enough so that you all can see it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is cd into my projects folder. And so here's what I'm going to do. I will be going to the Create React Native App GitHub page. And following the instructions for that. And you all can follow along if you want. If you just search for Create React Native App, for me on Google, the very first result that came up was the GitHub page. So we're going to install that globally. Yeah, I'm just going to copy over what's on there just to save time. So let's install. Is it over already? That was like super fast. Amazing. Alright, cool. Alright, so I'm in the projects folder, and I'm going to say Create React Native App, and then we're going to give it a name. So this is our Resource Center, so let's call it our... I'm going to call it RC Native. I read somewhere that there was some weird issue where you can't use camel case or hyphens. I can't remember exactly what the issue was, but that's why I'm going to make it like this, which is a little weird. But just so that we don't run into that issue, that's why I'm doing this. Every time I've ever used this, which was once, I just had one word and it was all lowercase, so I've never dealt with that issue. So what this is going to do is give us kind of a starting point for a React Native app, and when it's all done, we'll have a new folder named RC Native that we'll be able to go into, and we should be able to see. Basically, it'll be a working app. Let's see, while it's going through its thing, I'm going to check the live chat. John Hansen says, does this mean I'm personally soon going to be building a React Native app? I'm just getting used to Create React App, blaming all of it on you. JK. Yeah. We're going to do React Native. don't worry, if you are intimidated, that's exactly how I felt before I made my first one. It's so much easier than you might think. Alright, so yarn start and the Expo. Alright, so let's CD RC native, which it gives you nice instructions right there. And then let's yarn start. I don't know if I have everything I need on this computer. I do on my laptop. I thought I downloaded everything I need. We'll see. I do have, so on your phones, you will need to download, if you want to work on this, an app called Expo. That's EXPO. So you can see you're talking about Expo here. And that'll allow you to preview what's going on directly on your phone, which is awesome. And so I'm going to go here in my search bar and in Expo. Now I could potentially, I'm trying to think if this always runs. I don't remember if this always runs over Wi-Fi or if you can plug in your phone and have it run like that. But this should work as long as I'm on the same network. Which, let me double check that I am on the same network. I am, cool. Let's see, let me open up Expo, and maybe I'll make my screen bigger just to show you all. You can also use the emulator, so let me open up the iOS emulator so you can see it there. Oh, I could just scan the QR code. What am I thinking? Simulate because of a problem. Alright, so it looks like I could not open it. Let me display that QR code again. It's way too big. I need to make this smaller so I can see it. Oh, okay, cool, it worked now. Yeah, so let me make my screen, my camera bigger so you can see some of this. It's, alright, I'll let you see it when it actually gets finished. It does take a minute. Oh, shoot. What happened? Sorry. Try to scan this again. Alright, almost done now. If I was thinking properly, I would have used visors. You can see this on the screen, but I wasn't planning on doing this. Oh, what the heck happened? Dismiss. Come on. If you shake it, you can reload. So you can see I shook it and hit reload. Unidentified is not an object. Evaluating native version major. Alright, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm currently getting an error message, and the glares, you probably can't see because of the glare. So that's odd. I've never gotten an error message right away. What I do want to do though is duplicate this tab quickly and then open up Atom just to show you the file structure. Alright. See, we have all our node modules, which is always a lot. Let's see our app.js. There we go. Okay, so check this out. This looks almost exactly like the regular React that we're used to using. I'm still on me, sorry. There we go. Check this out now. Look at this. We're importing React from React, and then we're importing a couple of components from React Native, right? Export default class, right? This is all familiar. And then we're rendering, return. We have a view, which when you see view in React Native, think div, okay? And then when you see text, instead of p tags or even h tags, we have our text tags. So, and look at our style sheet. So we have our styles here. We're using Flexbox. We have a background color, right? So without, I know I can't get this to show up, but we already know exactly what this is going to look like, right? We have our container that's going to have a white background. We're using Flex. All right, it's going to take up the full screen, and we're going to center it. So the items will be centered both vertically and horizontally, and all we're going to have are 3 lines of text, and it's going to say this, right? Just like we have in there. So easy. We can check out our package JSON and see. It's just simple. Now, of course, this is the Create React Native app, right? If we ejected, it would be way more complicated. But for now, this is what we have. We run start when we're in development mode, and I believe if we want to make an Android app, we type Android and it creates all the files we need. And then if we want to do it with iOS, we just type iOS, so npm start iOS, or I'm sorry, npm run iOS, or we could just do yarn iOS. Yeah, super easy. And that's it. And this is, I have no idea what the issue is with the error that I'm getting. But maybe I'll try one more time to restart this, and then if it still doesn't work, then I'm not going to try it again. Alright, so in the live chat, Blake got in here late. It's cool, Blake. No, actually, Blake, this isn't Electron right now. This is React Native. So we will be working with Electron in the future. But right now I was trying to set up React Native, but I keep getting an error saying undefined is not an object. Evaluating native version major and node modules. React app, false. Oh man, yeah. Don't know why this is not working. See my npm start. What's my npm version? Okay, I have the right version that should work. Let's see. I did, let me double check. I did check on the network. So Anhil says, check the network. Yeah, it is the correct network. Let me, it's already up to date. Okay. I just totally turned off that instance of the app that I was trying to run in Expo, and now I restarted the server, and now I'm going to try to open it again and see if something happened. Maybe I'm like gonna flush out. Yay, it worked. Awesome. Okay, I don't know what happened at first, but once I turned it off and turned it back on, and then that fixed it. So let me show you. I know it's gonna be hard to see, and again, I'm sorry I didn't set it up so I could show it on my screen. But here's our I'm trying to get out of the glare. You can probably maybe barely see it depending on what your screen resolution is, but there's the text that we had. Open up app. It's all backwards for me. I'm trying to look at it. Open up app.js to start working on your app. So there we go. So essentially in just a few minutes, it would have been shorter if I would have just restarted it right off the bat and got it working. But in just a few minutes, we actually have an Android app that works. Now, we didn't bundle this all in the correct file format or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess technically it's not exactly like an Android app, but, you know, we have it running via Expo on an Android phone right now. And if I had an iOS device, I could do the same thing. So, last thing I want to do, which I think I still have time. Yeah, we have about 9 minutes left in this Pomodoro session. So what I'd like to do now is make a GitHub repo for this. Just bare minimum GitHub repo. I'm just going to change just a bit. And let's say... I don't want to say mobile app. I want to say React Native. Oh, my typing is terrible today. Okay. Let's remove these and save that. And now we're going to make a Git repo out of this and then push that up. It'll be in there. Obviously, there's like so much we want to do. This is the bare minimum of apps that we could make right now. Oh no, I didn't have my screen on. I'm really bad at that, at having my screen switched back over so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what we need to do first is a git init, right? So we are in the folder, right, our project folder. We're going to do a git init. Let's see. Native master repository. Okay, great. Git commit. Let me make sure I have a git ignore file. Yes, I do. Awesome. I thought it came automatically, but I just wanted to be sure. So we're going to git commit. Init. Git init am. Sorry. Commit am init. There we go. So after my silliness there, I had to add the files first before I could commit them, obviously. Sorry about that. Okay, now we have our repository. Let's go ahead and create a repository in GitHub and then link the two up, and then we can push what we have so far up to GitHub. And then that way, if anybody wants to take a look at it or mess with it or anything, then you'll have that. Let's see, GitHub. and we're going to create a new repository. We're going to do it under the FUS Marcom organization, and we're going to call this RC Native. Make that public, and I don't want to add anything right now. We can add in our license, and we already have a git ignore. We can add in the readme later. Actually, we already have a readme. We'll just have to edit it. So let's create. Okay. So now we already have a repository. So we're just going to copy each of these lines. I never tried copying both the lines at once. Would that work? I guess it would. But in this one we're gonna, oops, you all probably can't see that, huh? There we go. We're gonna add, right? This is our like SSH address for our repo, so we're gonna add that. And then our next one, we're going to actually push to the repo that we've just linked to. Great. Now we should be able to see that code that we just had. Yep, so here we go. Here's our, there we go, there's our code. And there's our text that we edited. Alright, so that's ready to go. So now we have a repo to work out of. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to be working primarily on this or any of our other Electron or native things that we're going to do, because that's not a priority right now for me. It's just something that will be helpful and that I'd really like to work on, but I will keep up with the pull requests, or at least I'll do my best to keep up with them, and I'll bring them up from time to time, you know, if things change and if we do work on some of these things. Alright, and my cycle, yeah, the Pomodoro cycle is almost over, so I'm going to go back to the live chat. I'm going to answer any questions that you all have, and after I get to the bottom of the live chat, we'll finish up the stream for today. Oh, okay. Angel said I could also check out if there's a new version of Expo. That's a good idea. I mean, we got it to work, but that's still a good idea to make sure everything is up to date. John Hansen says, looks easy. Yeah, right. Yes, it looks familiar. What is the trigger or logic to call the app to render on a device as opposed to a desktop create React app? It should be, it's the same. So essentially, in terms of what's going on in the background, I have no idea, right? It's working differently depending on if it's iOS or Android. But in terms of, you know, as a developer, what we have to do, the triggering the render works the same way. Everything is controlled by the state, right? So you never, just like in normal React, you never manipulate the DOM directly. It's the same thing here, even though we don't even have a DOM. You change the state, and then things are, you know, here in the state. So just for instance, let's just say oops. So we could do this, and What do we say? I can't believe I'm losing my mind. Where do I put state up here, right? So our state is going to be display text is false. We're going to say it's false right now. Oops, not that. Display text is false, and so we would do something like this, right? Display text. Where's my end? Hopefully this is answering your question and I'm not like totally missing the point here. Okay, so if we save that, I'll get an error. Can't find, oops, sorry, state, this state, dot display text. Okay, so our state is false, and let's see if I can open debug.js remotely. Let's try to open up this remote debugger. And I have no idea where this is going to open up at. I have too many screens open and I can't find the debugger. There it is. Alright, so let's inspect. And let's pop this out and make it bigger. So here's our debugger. Oh goodness. Alright, let's go to our React. Oh no, do we not have the React debugger? Well, this is not this is not good. Why do I not have the React debugger? Oh well, I can't do what I wanted to do. Alright. Let's get rid of that. We'll just add something else then. Alright, so let's do Is that how it is? I think that's what it is in React Native. Handle touch. This set state, and then we'll just do display text true. Is that how I have to do it? It's crazy. I haven't coded anything for a week, and now I'm like forgetting everything. All right, let's just save and see if I get an error. Alright, not working. Alright, so I'm I'm not gonna try to work with this anymore because obviously I'm forgetting too much. It has been over a month since I did anything with React Native, so I'm messing something up, but I guess I can just do this just to even see if my code is correct at all. There we go. So we can see the state is true. Really small there. So you could probably see that we have 2 lines. You can't really read it, but anyway. Sorry, I just went through all that and I couldn't get it to work. I'm guessing that my issue is I don't know what the right handler is here. I don't think you can do it on click because you're not clicking, but I can't remember what you're supposed to do. Anhil says, you can set up an Android simulator on your Windows or iPhone simulator on iOS to work with Expo. Yeah, so that's true. So I don't have it set up. You can actually set up the Android thing on iOS too, but last time I checked, it was just more complicated than I wanted to do. Since I already have an Android device, it's easier just to run it on there. I tried to get the simulator to come up, but I got an error. So I just didn't really feel like trying to fix it, on the stream. But if we do start working with it a lot on the stream, I'll make sure I get the simulator at the very least for iOS up and running. Let's see. Alright, so Native W01 says, Jesse, have you tried the new version of Firefox? It's called Firefox Quantum, and it's pretty dang good. Just made the switch from Chrome today. I have not tried it yet, but I've heard really good things about it. So I may have to try that soon. Has anyone else used it? Everybody's saying it's super fast. Ano says, are you going to create some issues? I will create some issues. I'll do my best to create them soon. Let me think what I have. I got to think about what else I need to do that needs done right now. If I have time today, maybe I'll try to do some issues. Otherwise, I'll try to get them in there sometime soon. Blake says, I used SSH to pull a repo once, and every minute it would ask me for my SSH password while I was working on it. How... I'm trying to think how I set it up. You should be able to set it up so that you don't need to, it won't ask you for your SSH password. Actually, you know what I do? See if this works. Alright, so Blake, the next time you use SSH to pull a repo, do this and see if it works. Yeah, so do SSH add. So SSH-add, hit enter. It'll ask for your passphrase. And then enter it in there, and then you should need to enter it in again. I don't have to enter it in again until I restart my computer, which is infrequently. So once you do that, as long as you don't restart things, then you won't need to put in your password again. Alex B says, Jesse, I'm new to freeCodeCamp. I saw you did a lot of videos with multiple technologies. Can you recommend me a playlist, a series to start from? I guess at this point, it does depend a little bit about what you're interested in, but most of our projects have used React. So it might... Maybe you want to start with Project 5 Day 1, and because it would be really easy for you to catch up because we're not that far into the project. If you're not worried about catching up with the live stream, then I would go with maybe Project 3 or 4. I'm trying to think, what was Project 3? maybe project 4 then, because those are kind of simple to get started out with. We're using Create React App. So start with one of those. I don't recommend starting with project 1 anymore because it's already kind of out of date. We started that months ago. We used Next. There are already new versions of Next, and we use jQuery with React, which I don't recommend doing. So yeah, so you can start with really any of the projects, but I would not recommend starting with project 1. Project 5 is the best if you want to catch up to the live stream quickly. Oh, okay. Michael is saying you should use touchable opacity and on press. Okay, let's try that. Let's do that. Alright, cool. Let me try this. Oops. I might have to put text in. For some of the buttons in React Native, you have to put text inside, and for some of them you don't. I can't remember which ones you do and don't, so yep, I think that was it. Great. Alright, cool. So let me reload this and just show you. Let me move my camera. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be really small. So right now, I know it's hard to see, but we have our click me button there. It's just text. And if I click it, now we have the more text, right? The state is true. So in terms of like rendering, telling it when to render, it's exactly the same, right? We just have the equivalent of an on-click handler, and that does not directly do anything to anything that's on the screen. But what it does do is it changes a state. Every time there's a state change, that triggers the re-render. So that's still how we're handling things. Thanks again, Michael, for setting me straight on how I needed to do that. Alright, cool. Blake says the new version of Firefox is good, but I just prefer Chrome. John says the new Firefox is good, but just a day after Chrome really pumped up their dev tools, sticking with Chrome here. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. My big question with the new Firefox is how are the dev tools? Because I like Chrome's dev tools. So for me, it doesn't really matter how fast Firefox is. If Chrome has better dev tools, I'm sticking with Chrome, at least for dev. If I'm just looking on the internet for something else, then I'll go with Firefox. But actually, to be honest with you, if I'm just browsing online, I'm using my phone. If I'm on a laptop or a desktop, I'm most likely working. So I'm still going to try it, obviously, but that's going to be the deciding factor for me is the dev tools. Okay, so that's the end of the live chat. No more questions or comments. So we actually ended up getting more coding done than I thought we would. So a lot of new exciting things happening, and I'll be setting up some more repos and hopefully adding some more issues to those repos. So whether you're interested in regular React, React with Gatsby, React with Next, Create React app, React Native, or using React with Electron, there'll be something for you to learn from and contribute to. So I'm really excited about that. It feels like we're covering like all the React areas now. We just need something with Redux, I think, and then we'll really be like hitting all the major things. But those will all be available. We'll be talking about all those in the coming month. And our main project is still going to be Project 5, so that'll get the most attention. But we are going to branch out a bit, and this will be cool. I hope we have some more people, contributing to the code and helping you to learn and build up your portfolios. Cool. All right, so I will stream tomorrow. I'm gonna try my best to stream tomorrow. I may have to attend a 3-hour-long training session on leadership. I would rather not, but it's not up to me. So that's going to take out a big chunk of my day. I'll let you know if and when I can stream on Twitter tomorrow, and of course I will schedule a stream, so you should get a notification if you're subscribed to the Free Code Camp channel. Just in case I don't stream, if you still want to see me, you can check out on my channel, my personal channel, which is linked in the description, I believe. You can check out my talk from Nodevember that I just gave on Tuesday afternoon about live streaming and live coding. So you can still watch me somewhat live if you watch that. So that was like a shameless plug, wasn't it? But anyway, you guys might like it, or you all might like it, because I talk about you in a very good way in my talk from Nodevember. So check that out if you get a minute. It's only 30 minutes long, a little less than 30 minutes. All right, so until then, like I said, hopefully I see you all tomorrow. I really, really hope I can, because I haven't streamed for a while and I miss it. But if not, I guess I'll see you all on Monday. But either way, have a great day, and I will be back soon.